ang advantage sa arrays compared to list, okay? Ang advantage sa arrays, oops, share sana ako ang screen. So, doon na advantage ang arrays, doon na po advantage ang list, but mas kita, mas mugamit ta og arrays kaysa list because when we are dealing with vectors, since we are dealing with vectors, no, then we cannot use list there because doon na yung mga vectors nga say, if I have three-dimensional problem, then I cannot use list, I will use arrays. Okay, so mas taas-taas gamay og level ang arrays because you can actually solve linear algebra problems using arrays in Python. Okay, na ba tayo linear algebra, no? Wala, no? Na linear algebra. Unsa na mo ron? Differential equation pa mo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, differential equation. Yes, unsa to?
Nag-talk po about linear equations, sir. Marag related naman siya sa linear algebra gyapon.
Sa unsa nga math? Calculus na sa calculus?
Differential equations, sir. Nag-talk me about linear equations about ni ana, sir.
Oh, okay,
Pagtanong
okay.
po na ako sa algebra, sir, kay related naman ang ilang mga sir, ilang mga topics gyapon sa kuan. Nalay mga gipangdugang pero
Okay.
kuan lang complicated linear equation.
Okay, sige. So, dili ra kita mo kan sa actually sa math fee na isa ka chapter dito nga ga-talk about linear algebra. So, think matakol niya sa mathematical physics niyo. Chapter 4 ata. It's all about linear algebra. So, makakuha ka of I don't know if i-discuss pa sa inyo ang how to get the row echelon form, RREF, using Gauss-Jordan elimination, and so on. So, using Gauss-Jordan elimination, makuha ninyo ang raw echelon form sa imuhang matrix and so on. But anyways, I think madako lang yun na sa math fee, pero dili kita mo digit na, no? Kato lang basic lang sa linear algebra, like what's matrix, if I have a matrix, how to do inverse of that matrix, and how to solve um, linear equations, okay? System of linear equations, okay? So, again, di kita mo dig in, but if gusto mo, no, later, if you have questions about linear algebra, I can teach you how to do um, Gauss elimination. But I think nana siya sa math fee. Kung matakol niyo na siya, nana siya sa math fee. What are Hermitian matrix? How to do eigenvalue problem? How to calculate eigenvalues, eigenfunctions? What are the degeneracies and so on? So that's important in quantum mechanics. So kinahanglan dapat matakol niyo sa mathematical physics kaning um, gamay nga part sa linear algebra. Okay, so let's proceed. So again, arrays, we can use arrays to solve matrices, to solve inverse of a matrix, to solve, say, dot product of two vectors, and so on. Okay, so duha atong topic karon, we have first is the dot product, and the other one is the katong system of linear equations. Okay, so yeah, again, you have to install this package ng Pi para magamit nato ning arrays, no? Para magamit nato ning arrays. Okay? So, you can let an empty array, you can create an empty array by just uh, writing as this as from numpy import empty or so on. So, empty 4, it means that na ako'y upat ka element sa imuhang matrix, upat ka element sa imuhang array, okay, and the type is float, okay, and you can also create an array from a list, okay, so converting a list, this is a list R, and you can convert that into array, okay, pwede nimo siya ma-convert into array. This one, this is a pila na siya ka row 1 2 3, this is 2 by 3 matrix because if you print this one, it is actually equal to this one. Nakoy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, ingani siyang form. Ingani siyang form sa kaning array. If you print this one, it actually, the form is, it looks like this. Okay, so, it has two rows. Kani, dua ka rows. Row 1, and then row 2. Okay, row 2. And then I have 3 columns. So that's why gitawag siya nga 2 by 3 matrix because naa siya duha ka row and then naa siya tulo ka column. Okay? Tulo ka columns. Okay? So if I have 3 by 4, a 4 by 3 matrix, so I have 4 rows, upat ka rows and then tulo ka columns. Okay? Usually, say if I have 3 equations, 3 unknowns, you will have to create an array that the dimension is a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay? You will have to create a matrix that has 3 columns and 3 rows. Okay? So yeah, that is an example of an array. Okay, so let me give you an example on how to write arrays, okay, and how to do operations. Okay, how to do matrix operations. Okay, so to say for example, if I will create an array like 3 by 3 matrix array. So ingani lang no, ingani una na ano ko butang. Diri lang sa kanilang diri lang ko butang. Okay. If I will create an array, a matrix, okay, first is I will create a 1 by 3 matrix. Kung mag-create ko 1 by 3 matrix, pwede ko mag-create og 3 by 3 matrix and so on. Okay? So if I will create 3 by 1 by 3 matrix, okay. Ingani lang ako pagbuhat no. I will import numpy first. Of course, you will import numpy. And para para ma-reduce imuhang letter, pwede nimo siya i-let ang numpy as np. Okay? Para kay later man god, pag mag-create ka og array, sige nimo gisulat ang numpy.array and so on. So instead of writing numpy, whole word numpy, isulat lang nimo siya as np. So muna ang meaning ani no, import numpy as np, you let numpy nga word as np lang, such that pag create nimo isa ka array, ang imo lang gamiton is not the numpy nga word but np nga word lang. Okay, so first is import numpy as np, and then if I will create say 1 by 3 matrix, say a matrix a is equal to a 1 by 3 matrix, for example. Kaning ako ang isulat 1 by 3 matrix, say if I let oops, if I let create a 1 by 3 matrix, say A equal to 3, 4, 5, for example. So, na ako 1 by 3 nga matrix, no? And then, I will also create another matrix, B, as 4, 5, 6. Okay, so, unsaan ako ni pag-create ning duha? So, first, again, you have to import numpy, and then let that numpy as np. And then, isulat na ko ang A, and how to write the A, I will use np now. Again, kung di mo siya i-let as np, kinahanglan nimo i-type ang numpy dot. Okay? So, para mas mubo siya na ko np array, and then butang nimo siya sa close open nga parenthesis, and then since this is just a 1 by 3 matrix, so kanila ako isulat. Na ko bracket 3, 4, 5. Okay? So, you successfully created a matrix that has a 3 elements. Okay? Then, this is a 1 by 3 matrix that has 3 elements. Na ko'y first element is 3, second element is 4, and then third element is 5. So, when you click the enter, if you print A, so print A is now an array that has 3 elements, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then next, if I create B, okay, if I create B is 4, 5, 6. So mag-create ko another nga matrix. Again, you have to write np dot array. Okay? Then close open parenthesis, 4, 5, 6. So this is now my B. Okay? Okay, so I have two matrices. You can do matrix operations there. If I print A plus B, so unsay buhaton niya, A plus B, if you add two matrix, okay, if I add two arrays, ang yang buhaton is kanino nakoy duha no, nakoy 3 4 5, nakoy tulo ka elements, nakoy 3 4 5 for A, and then 4 5 6 for B, if you do matrix operations like addition, if I have A plus B, then ang iyang buhaton is i-add lang niya kani, i-add po niya ni, and then i-add po niya ni. Okay, so we have 7, 9, 11. So that's A plus B. Okay, that's A plus B. What if I will do multiplication? Try na to, no? Kung ma-multiply ba siya. Okay, A times B, ma-multiply kaya po siya, no? So we have, if I use asterisk, asterisk means a multiplication, uh, a multiplication between, as you can see here, you just have to multiply elements by elements, as you can see here. A cross B, A, not cross, no, not cross, but asterisk. Kung asterisk ang gamitin ng operations, ang buhaton niya is i-multiply niya ni. So, na ako'y 12. I-multiply niya ni, na ako'y 20, and then the last one is 30. Okay. Using usual multiplication lang, no? Using usual multiplication nga aning asterisk. Okay. Unsay kalayan sa multiplication nga sa operation nga asterisk and sa dot product. Take note, this one is not a dot product, sakto ba? Because as you can see, i-review na to i-review na to gamay what is a dot product. Okay. So na ko dot product, no? Let's review. Lahi ang result if I use asterisk. Asterisk is just i-multiply lang nimo tanang elements. Okay, so mura na yung buhaton. Kung mag A asterisk B lang ko, multiply the first elements, yeah, and then multiply the second element, then multiply the third element, you will get another matrix, which is just the multiplication of A and B. That product is lahi, no? Take note, if you review your Physics 41, natay kitawag dito nga that product or scalar product. Scalar product is actually, ang iyang result is not a matrix, it's not a vector, okay, quantity, but a scalar quantity. It's just a number, okay? Ang makuha nimo sa that product is just a number. So when you say, if I have vectors, again, we are dealing with vectors, no? We are dealing with vectors. Oops, wala na siya. Okay? Say A, it has an x component of ax. Tama ba? Kadumduman no? Ay, bz, b, oops, bz ni siya, no? Not b but a, sorry. Az. Okay. So, az k hat and b as bx I hat plus by j hat plus bzk hat. Sakto? Then, the dot product, it is denoted by this. Okay? The dot product of these two vectors is just actually, you just multiply the components, x component plus the y component plus the z component. Sakto? The z component. And take note, the result is just a number. Okay? The result is just a number or some scalar quantity. Okay. Unlike sa katong asterisk, ang iyang buhaton is, ang makuha nimo is also a vector. By the way, you can write this into a Python as a matrix, as a 1 by 3 matrix nga ax, comma, ay, comma, az, comma. Okay? So, katong atong gibuhat nga a dito, it represents a vector quantity that has three elements. Na say x component, na say first element is the x component, second element is the y component, and the third element is the z component. So you can write vectors in terms of matrix. Okay, you can write in terms of arrays, no? In terms of arrays, you can write vectors in terms of arrays. Okay, by, bz. Okay. So ang yang buhaton, so nako ingani, no? You can represent, instead of using I hat, j hat, k hat, you can represent a as ax, comma, ay, comma, az, comma, while b can be represented by this bx, by, and bz. Okay. If you do a cross b, not cross, sorry, a asterisk b, aya lang buhaton is, i-multiply lang niya ang ax, bx, ay, by, and then az, bz. Sakto? Az, bz. But for the dot product, ang buhaton sa dot product is i-multiply niya ang AX, BX, but i-add niya tanan, no? I-add niya tanan ang naa sa imong arrays, no? A, Z, BC. So, muning kalayan sa dot product ug sa cross sa asterisk. You can also do if you let this one as you can also do this. We have kani siya same ra ni siya sa sum of A cross B. Sakto? Kay naaman ko not cross, sorry. Sige ako ka cross, no? A asterisk B is equal to this one, right? But if you do the sum, ang yang buhaton is sum. Ang sum is magamit nimo sa list. Di na ako mag-sum, no? Sa list mo ni siya, no? But this is an array. Okay. Anyways, so mo rin kalayan sa duha, no? Asterisk and that product is i-add niya tanan. I-add niya tanan ang AX, BX plus AY, BY plus AZ, BZ while the asterisk is na ko AX, BX, comma. So it is a vector. As you can see, this one is a vector quantity while kani siya is a scalar quantity lang. Okay? Uh, Take note, this asterisk is not a cross product because ang cross product kay lahi siyang form, no? As you can see from, if you recall, itong cross product, kanino? Katong A cross B, sakto ba? Kung kadumdum mo ani, A cross B is equal to this, ups, is equal to this, right? If you remember, na ko I hat, J hat, K hat, AX, AY, AZ, and then BX, BY, BZ, and then get the determinants of this. Okay, get the determinants of that, you will get your cross product. Sakto? Ina ko AY, BZ minus AZ, BY, I hat, plus AZBX minus AXBZ J hat, and then the last one will be uh, AXBY minus AYBX K hat. Okay? So lahi ning as A asterisk B sa A cross B. Take note, A cross B is a cross product. A asterisk B is just, you just multiply first elements, and then you multiply second element, and then multiply third element. But for cross product, you will get the determinants of this one. Oops. And then the answer would be this one. Okay, the answer would be equal to this equation here. Okay? So that's the cross product. Okay, let's do that product. Okay? So how to write that product? Very simple. If I have an array A 3 4 5 and then B is 7 9 11, then the dot product I will put like dot AB. Okay, if I let dot AB as A, the syntax is this, na koy dot of B. Okay, take note. Ang dot product sa akong duha ka vector, duha ka array, sorry. Array is also, you can write again vector, you can write vector as an array. The syntax for that product is this. I have first array is A, and then na ako syntax nga dot dot, okay? DOT of B, then you will get the dot product of these two arrays. And take note that product is just a number, no? It's just a scalar quantity ang yung result. So if I print that AB, ang yung result nga answer is 62, which is just a number, a scalar quantity. 62 because as you can see, in this case, if I do the calculation, so ito akong A is 345. Oops. A, take note, is 345, while B is, so itong B na to, oops. B is 7, B is 456. Okay, 4, 5, 6. Ang A asterisk B is just equal to 12, 20, and then 30, no? But the A.B is na ako'y 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 5 times 6, which is 30, and that's equal to 30, 50. Your answer will be 62. Okay? Your answer will be equal to 62. Okay? So that is the dot product. Okay? So muna ang dot product sa ako ang if I have a three-dimensional vector na ako'y x component, y component, and z component, then you can actually get the dot product of these two vectors. You can also get the dot product of itself. Like for example, magamit nato ni siya by definition of tomorrow, no, you have this activity by definition of a dot product. Na ko definition sa dot product nga a dot b equal to the magnitude of a times the magnitude of b, times the magnitude of b, cosine of theta, where theta is the angle between, if this is your vector a, this is your vector b, then the theta is just the angle between these two vectors. Again, your activity, sa tong activity, 1, 2, 3, activity 3 is finding the angle between two vectors. Okay, so muna niyo hang between two vectors. Two vectors. Okay? So, ang inyong buhaton is isolve na to ang what is theta there, okay? How to solve for theta if I have vector A, this one, vector B, this one, solve for the angle theta. Okay? So, that will be your next activity. So in this case, we know this one, how to write this one in Python. We know how to write a dot b in Python. If given say a equal to say to 3, 4, 5, and then b is given by 4, 5, 6, then you can have a dot b, and that is equal to 62, right? In this case, a dot b is 62. Okay? But we don't know A, the magnitude of A, and also we don't know the magnitude of B pa. Wala pa ta kabalo sa A o B. So, once makuha na ko ang magnitude ni A o magnitude ni B, makuha na ko ang angle theta. By just take note, the theta here given by from this formula, from this equation, your theta there is just equal to the cosine inverse of A dot B over the magnitude of A times the magnitude of V, and that's it. Now that's your theta. So question is, if you are using cosine inverse, then you have to import math um, cosine inverse. Okay, so i-search lang, no, unsa imong import, kinahanglan nga import para magamit nimo ning cosine inverse nga function. Anyways, nara sa internet ko na, no. Import cosine inverse or sine inverse sa math nga built-in package. Okay, so I know this one. I know how to write a dot b, right? Kabalo na ko ana, no? Just by writing it as a dot of b. Okay, take note, a dot b is just equal to b dot a. Sakto? So, pwede nimo siya isulat po as b dot of a. Pwede na siya. Equal lang na silang duha. Okay? Equal lang na silang duha. 62 ra gihapon niyang answer, ana. Okay. Now, how to solve for a? Wa pa ta kabalo sa a, magnitude of a and magnitude of b. Take note, natay gitawag nga if I have vector a, take note si vector a is equal to, in this case, in our example, 3, 4, 5. To solve for a, this is very simple. If I do a dot a, meaning kuha na ko ang dot product sa duha sa sa kaning a, sa iyang itself, no, sa iyang self. This is just equal to what? This is equal to 3 times 3 plus 4 square, 3 square lang, no? 3, oops. This is 3 square plus 5 square, right? As you can see, a dot a is just a square. Okay, a dot a is just a square. So as in this case, this is equal to 3 square plus 4 square plus 5 square. So therefore, in order to solve for a, ang imo lang buhaton is just take the square root of this a dot a, then you will get the answer. So nakoy 9 plus 16 plus 25, then the magnitude of a is just equal to the square root of this, which is equal to 50. So we have the magnitude of A is just 50. And then, same sa imuhang B, same setup sa imong B. kuhanin mo ang dot product sa iyang self, and then take the square root. Again, if there is the square root, then you will use import math um, SQRT. No, you have to import math SQRT. Okay. So same sa B, no? So same sa B, makuha mo ang B, and then once you know the A dot B, you know the magnitude of A, you know the magnitude of B, you can solve for the angle between the vector, between these two vectors. Okay? You can actually calculate the angle between these two vectors. And that's it. That's for a dot product, no? Kung saan gito, if na ako'y A dot A, so A, say, kung saan ako pagsulat? A dot A, wait, import, mag-import sa ko daan o ba, no? Import math, SQRT. Oops, sorry. SWRT naman. SQRT. Oops. From, SQRT ba to? From math, ito ba to? Import, okay. From math import SQRT, mm, A is just, no, not the A but the magnitude. Mag A is equal to square root, oops, math dot square root of A dot A, no? A dot A, oops, siko lang. Math define SQRT lang. Pero siguro square root lang. Okay, ano lang, ako na from math import SQRT, no? Pwede ra po ka mag-import math, tapos math.sqrt. Okay, ra gyapon na siya. Same na siya, no? If you print the mag A, then the answer is 7.07. Okay? Because this one, na ko square root of 50, square root of 50 is equal to 7.07. Okay? So, ingana lang, no? And then you also need to solve for the mag B. Mag B equals SQRT, the dot product of itself, na ko B dot B. Oops. Then you will get the mag B. Okay? That's 8.77. And then you now have A dot B. You now have magnitude of A. You now have magnitude of B. Then you can solve for the angle theta between these two vectors. Okay, and that's it. That's your next activity. Okay, again, the syntax unsaon pagsulat sa dot product is this kaning dot period tapos na ako'y word nga dot. Okay? Na ako'y period nga dot. And di na siya pareha sa asterisk, no? Asterisk is just multiplication of all elements. Okay? Yeah, that's it. That's for the dot product. Okay, do you have any questions? Na ba tayo questions, Anan? Wala na? Okay? Ang cross product, magamit na, saan ito pagkuhan sa cross product? Sige lang, dot product lang sa tao na. No, dot product lang sa tao na. Okay, so you know now how to, if I have two vectors, you know now how to calculate the dot product of these two vectors. And then, once you have the dot product, you can also find the angle between them. You can also find the angle between them, which is this theta here, by just using this formula. Using this formula, cosine inverse of A dot B over magnitude of A times magnitude of B. Take note, A, yes. With the pictures na ako yung gibot sa guide. Okay. Ito. Kanino? Makita ni mo kuan, Albert?
Yes sir, dili kay mapano.
Sige. Sige lang. Again, if you use import math lang, not from math import SQRT, if you use import math, ang imong buhaton to use the SQRT is just kanila, no? Kaning mag say A equals math that SQRT. Pwede ra gyapon na siya, no? SQRT of say uh, uh, 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19 plus 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23 plus 24 plus 25 plus 26 plus 27 plus 28 plus 29 plus 30 plus 31 plus 32 plus 33 plus 34 plus 35 plus 36 plus 37 plus 38 plus 39 plus 40 plus 41 plus 42 plus 43 plus 44 plus 45 plus 46 plus 47 plus 48 plus 49 plus 50 plus 51 plus 52 plus 53 plus 54 plus 55 plus 56 plus 57 plus 58 plus 59 plus 60 plus 61 plus 62 plus 63 plus 64 plus 65 plus 66 plus 67 plus 68 plus 69 plus 70 plus 71 plus 72 plus 73 plus 74 plus 75 plus 76 plus 77 plus 78 plus 79 plus 80 plus 81 plus 82 plus 83 plus 84 plus 85 plus 86 plus 87 plus 88 plus 89 plus 90 plus 91 plus 92 plus 93 A dot A. Same ra ta sig answer. Yes, no. Same ra sila answer man. So nara sa inyo kung sa inyo hang gamiton nga kuan. Import math tapos math.sqrt or from math import sqrt para diretso na ka musulat og sqrt para makuha nimo square root sa kaning dot product of a dot a. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so yeah, we have that. So we are done with that product. Let's now go to um solving systems of linear equations. Okay, so na ko'y solving systems of linear equations. Solving systems of linear equation. Linear equation. So if I have say for example na ako'y tulok equation, three unknowns, three equations, example lang siya no, three unknowns. Okay? So three equations, three unknowns. Say for example na ako'y 2x plus 3y plus 4z equals 12, na ako'y 8x minus 4y plus 2z equals 10, and then the last one would be x plus y plus z equals 3. Okay. Suppose, I don't know if naban na siya yung solution, but anyways, this is just an example. This is just an example. So if I have three equations, three unknowns, how can I write this in Python? So saan ako pagsulat ni into Python? There are three elements here. There are three, I call this one as three uh, uh, matrices. Okay, there are three matrices that I can extract from these three equations. I have the coefficients. So na ako'y, you can write this actually as this. Na ako isulat nimo ang mga coefficients niya. 2, 3, 4, then 8 minus 4, 2, and then 1, 1, 1. Okay, so pwede nimo siya isulat as this. Na ako'y tulo ka coefficients. And then the unknowns, na ako'y tulo ka unknowns, x, y, and z. Okay? And then the numbers sa right side sa imong equation. Right side sa imong equation, which is this one. 12, 10, and then I have 3. Okay. So again, these three equations, I can write this into matrices. Uh, in linear algebra, kaning pagkasulat is pwede na ko siya isulat into this, where I will let this one as A, matrix A, kani, okay? I will let this one as matrix X on array, no? Array A, array X, and then the last one is array B. Such that this can be written as this equation A, X, dako nga X, AX. Take note, ang X na ko is kaning XYZ, no? XYZ. Ay kalibog, no? Kani siya is dako siyang X. Okay, dako siyang X. So AX equal to B. Okay. Okay, take note A is an array, X is also an array. As you can see, A is a 3 by 3 matrix. And then si X na ko, kani nga X, big letter X is a pila ni 3 by 1 matrix, tulo ka row ug isa ka column. And B is also a 3 by 1 matrix. Okay. So, pwede na ako isulat ang kaning tulo ka equation to tulo ka unknown into the simple equation AX cross B. And what we're going to solve, take note, ang ato ang kulang or ang ato ang unknown ani, ang ato ang gusto nga i-solve is kaning unsa ning imuhang X. Because I know A is just this, a 3 by 3 matrix, 3 by 3 arrays. I know also B is just this, but I don't know X. Kaning unsa ning akong unknown nga XYZ. So ang atong goal is to solve this X. What is this X here? Okay. Kung equation lang ni siya nga linear equation, dali lang, no? If I have A x equals B, kung linear equation lang ni siya, then I can solve x is equal to gamay nga B. Ang gamit. Okay. Kung oops, this is B. So masolve na ko si B equal to B over A. But in linear algebra, this is wrong. Okay? Take note. Kung equation lang ni siya nga linear equation, isa lang ka linear equation, you can solve for x equal to b over a lang. But again, in linear algebra, there is no matrix, there is no division operator. Okay, sa linear algebra, if you are dealing with matrices, there is actually no division operator. Wala ko'y division operator, puros lang siya addition and multiplication operator. If you are dealing with matrices, pwede ra ka maka-add og matrix, pwede ka maka-times og matrix, but dili ka pwede maka-divide og matrix. Okay? Di ka pwede maka-divide og matrix A divided by matrix B. Sala na siya sa math, no? Wala na siya sa linear algebra. Di ka ka-divide og if I have matrix A nga 1 2 3 4 ani, i-divide nimo siya og matrix nga 4 by 6 ana. So naay rules, no? You cannot do this one. Okay, you cannot do this one in linear algebra. Kung mag-divide lang kag isa lang ka element na koy 1 over 4, then that's okay. If isa lang ka element, one dimension lang, linear equation lang na koy y equals mx plus b, na koy ngani lang, then you can do that. But in matrices, take note, sala na siya sa you cannot do operations, division operations sa matrix. Also, sa multiplication sad, napoy rule sa multiplication, no? If you multiply matrices and then dili parehas ang size, dili. Nasa rule sa size sa imong matrix nga if you have a 3 by 1 3 by 1 matrix, you multiply it by 1 by 3 matrix, you will get a 3 by 3 matrix. Again, matakol niyo siya sa mathematical physics chapter 4. If you multiply two matrices, then there is this rule na dapat ninyo timan-an, like dapat parehas ang iyahang kana, no? Dapat parehas ang iyahang kana. If you do 3 by 2 times 3 by 2, then mag-error na iyahang wala si answer, because nasa rule nga dapat sundon. Kani siya dapat equal ning duha kani nasa tunga. Okay? Dapat equal lang nasa tunga. So do na pug kay kung way problema as addition pod kay dapat para siya size, no? If 3 by 3 ang isa to matrix ka-array, 3 by 3 ba dapat ang isa ka-array para ma-add nimo ang duha ka vectors. If mag-multiply ka, dapat same ang iyahang tawag ni column sa first matrix ug ang row sa second matrix. Dapat parehas sa answer. Such that ang total niya or ang answer niya must be 3 by 3 nga. It is equal to 3 by 3 nga matrix pod. Okay? Same ani, no? 3 by 1. Yeah, sakto. Kani, if I have AX, AY, AZ, tapos I have BX, BY, and then BZ. This is a dot product, okay? Because since this one is a 1 by 3 matrix, and then kani siya kay 3 by 1 matrix, if you multiply that, you will get a 1 by 1 matrix. 1 by 1 matrix na ko AX, BX plus AY, BY plus AZ, BZ, which is just a 1 by 1 nga matrix na ko 1 by 1 nga matrix. Okay? So this is actually a dot product, no? Kung lang tawon nimo, ang kani nga form is actually a dot product of these two vectors. Okay? Again, if you do matrix multiplication, do na kay sundon nga mga rules. But take note sa division, there's no division operator. So unsay buhaton? In linear algebra, okay? In linear algebra, okay? If I have this equation AX equal to B, what will you do is to solve for X, solving for X, what will you do is you have to take the inverse of the matrix, okay? The inverse, we call this one as inverse of matrix, okay? Inverse of matrix, say, it is denoted by this, a to the negative 1, okay? So, if you take the inverse of the matrix, okay, a negative 1, both sides. So kung mag-multiply ko diri og a to the negative 1 both sides, what will happen? So na ko a minus 1 ax equal to a minus 1 b. And there is this identity, na identity sa linear algebra that kani kani siya is just an identity matrix. Okay? Kana siya oops, is a dot a is just equal to 1. Okay? Dili na siya 1 lang but we call this one as identity matrix. So depende kung pila ka elements ang imong matrix. Say when you say identity matrix, it's just equal to this. It is a matrix that zero ang value sa iyahang non-diagonal elements nga wala sa diagonal. Say this one. Kaning 1 diari is equal to this one. Ako'y 1, 1, 1, 1, then 0, then yung na direct. So, matrix siya nga nga isang form. Okay? So, 0 tanan, tapos, except sa diagonal nga elements, ang diagonal nga elements is equal to 1 tanan. Okay? That is 1. So, a negative 1 times, a negative 1, inverse of a times a is just equal to an identity matrix, which we call this one as 1. Okay? So, therefore, as you can see, na ako'y 1, x is equal to a minus 1 times b. So therefore, masolve na ko si x na. X now is equal to a negative 1 times a negative 1. A inverse of a times the matrix b. And that's it. That's the solution of your system of linear equation. So ang imong buhaton is, in this example, kaning example, no, nakoy a nga sa example na to, I don't know if naba ni inverse. Doon na po yung mga matrix nga wala inverse. Okay? So, my A is given by this, no? 2, 3, 4. Ito. 8 minus 4, 2. 1, 1, 1. 8 minus 4, 2. Tapos 1, 1, 1. Ako ang B kay, kanino? 12, 10, 3. Okay? 12, 10, 3. So the x now, in order to solve for x, ang imong buhaton lang is take the inverse of your a and then multiply this by b by using the dot product. In this case, mugamit ang dot product para di na to i-transform ang b into a 3 by 1 matrix. I will use dot product of the inverse of a and b, then you will get the solution x. Okay? So, nakoy 2, 3, 4, 8 minus 4, 2, 1, 1, 1. Take the inverse of this one, and then 12, 10, 3. Okay. So, there's no problem with x. X is just this one, no? If I have the matrix A, take the inverse of that A, and then a dot product nimo siya sa B, which is this 12, 10, 3, then you will get the x. And that's it. That will be the solution of your system of linear equations na nakoy 3 equations, nakoy 3 unknowns. But question is this. Sa linear algebra, a minus 1. Okay, sa linear algebra, a minus 1 is dili kay sa simple solvon. Okay? Dunay steps, okay? Taas-taas na steps on how to get the inverse. Okay? Get the inverse of a matrix A. Okay? Again, I will not discuss this here because ang ato is I will use Python to calculate the inverse of this matrix. Okay? But in your mathematical physics, I think tudloan mo kung saan pag-solve manually, okay? How to solve manually the inverse of this matrix A. Okay? So if I have this matrix, tudloan mo unsaon pag-solve unsaon pag-solve sa inverse ayang matrix. But in this class, dita mo tudloan unsaon pag manually solve, calculate niyo ang inverse sa matrix A. Di mo sa diretso taas-taas siyang solution. Okay, taas-taas siyang solution. But tudloan ta mo, isa lang ka statement sa Python, makuha na ko ang inverse ani nga matrix. Okay? Isa lang ka statement, makuha na ko ang inverse ani nga matrix. Again, sa theory, sa inyong mathematical physics, masolve niyo manually ang A inverse using a long calculation, along steps. But in Python, uh, we will get the inverse of A just by writing it in one statement. Okay? So how to mura man yung pinaka problema, no? Ay time na day. Okay. So yeah, tomorrow I will teach you how to use or how to write or how to calculate inverse of a matrix. Say a 3 by 3 matrix, kuhaon na ko ang inverse ani nga na matrix, okay, nga array, no? I think by yeah, isa lang kay statement niya makuha na ko ang inverse. Okay? And then once makuha na ko ang inverse, solve na ko si x by just taking the dot product of this a minus 1 dotted with b, you will get the x. Okay? Then that will be your second activity. Okay? So we will solve physics problem like Kirchhoff's. Okay? Kirchhoff's problem, solving the currents I1, I2, I3 using this system of linear equations. And then if I have this system of linear equations, I'll write it into a matrix, and then you will get the unknown just by multiplying or that by getting the dot product of the inverse of this matrix A and this matrix B. And that's it. That will be your second activity. Okay? So let's continue this one tomorrow. Same time 9 a.m. yapon ta. Okay? Do you have any question? Yes, Melchora.
Sir, pwede mga yung recorded. Sir, kay wala ko